Hey, folks. Just wanted to share a quick update on what is happening this week. Kind of playing around with formatting and honestly how to kind of build out this whole thing, this media company, in a way that we can stay top of mind every day, keep people in the know, but not overwhelm myself at the same time. So I was on the fence about whether I was going to go live at 9 o'clock, like I said I was going to in our newsletter here. So just testing, what it's like to go live without creating an event. And also, I love ideating in these moments, and something that came to mind is maybe there's space for like a 5 to 10 minute update of all things Let's Build Media as we start to create more shows throughout the day. I could see a place for this. It's amazing what happens when you provide constraints, with goals. So one of those constraints for me is trying to be active every day, on LinkedIn, and continue to build the amount of content that's being generated to try and match, the scale of the knowledge problem that we see in the HubSpot ecosystem right now. And really digital transformation in general. Like, let's help some companies grow better. So this is what's happening this week. Just had a great show with Oaks, starting a new series about building audience. So we're covering the gambit. And something interesting we were talking about before we went live is how, there might have been overlap with other shows. I think we were specifically talking about Tony Dowling yesterday. At the end of the day, like, one of the things we want to see happen is people take a strategy first approach to HubSpot in general. Everybody throughout the ecosystem, users, partners, HubSpot, sales, HubSpot, customer success, like, got to find a way to fit strategy, or else we'll never see the value of the full customer platform. So even as I'm starting to be a part of these multiple shows each day, I'm finding myself think twice about, like, did I say that already? Am I sounding like a broken record? And at those points, I remind myself, like, most people are not seeing all this stuff constantly. They're not seeing all the versions of what we're doing. Also, we're having different conversations each time. And sometimes, a specific point of view is going to resonate, more than others. So would love to hear, feedback as it comes. Always thankful for that. Are we talking about stuff you care about? Do you agree, disagree? Are there topics you'd like to see us cover? Is there a topic you want to cover? Maybe you have some expertise you'd like to share to join in this movement to really solve the knowledge and skills gap in the HubSpot ecosystem. We'd be happy to have you. So last week, we had, let's see here. Let me just see these black and white objective briefings. Either I have to learn, or I'm going to have to let somebody else do, so we can just get through these things in update fashion. So last week, we had some great recurring sessions with, Brian, Madeline, Willem, and Danielle. And, I think we're starting to resonate. And what I'm seeing on my side is I kind of use the notifications as a tool to kind of feel out trend information or trends that are happening. And one of the things that's proving out is, like, surprise, as you do more activity, there's more things to engage with, so you see more engagement, right? So that would be something, if I weren't seeing that, a cause for concern. And I have an inkling into kind of like, and this is all fairly qualitative understanding. Maybe next year we have a year's worth of data to look at it and get quantitative. But until then, I'm not going to overthink this too much. Or I will, just in a different way than most might. The additive nature of building audience and connecting with your audience, like, if you're not working with somebody else, if you're not collaborating with other people, if you're not partnering with other people, it's an impossibility. And a part of what we're trying to accomplish here is some discoverability for coaches and consultants that don't necessarily want to play the tiering game that exists in the HubSpot ecosystem right now, but we can help people, and we know people need help. So how do we make it easier to understand that this is a place you can get help? And that, Danielle or Madeline or Brian or Matthew are good fits, for you to help. And that's the idea of this content, to have these conversations, talk about things we're passionate about, to help serve the knowledge gap, but also create some personal brands in the process, some discoverability in a different way, than what we've seen, which is very not sales pitch. It's like the opposite of sales pitch. We don't have any skin in that game. We're not trying to sell. We're trying to help. No points to be had over here. So good to see that starting out. I'm getting good qualitative feedback. And again, there's things like the notifications growing. Not only it helps me tell like who's already got audience maybe, but also like the longevity of content plus audience. When you see, certain shows resonating, it's easy to say like, okay, we're a week out, we're 2 weeks out, and this one's still getting, likes and engagement compared to this other one, that is not. And then taking those moments to dig into the details. I'd like this to be, we'll figure out how representative this can be, how comprehensive, this list. I know there's more going on than these things, but trying to kind of make it more accessible for people, like, because there's this gap between an overwhelming amount of content, but also not knowing what resources are available or not being able to find the resources you need. We've got to figure out a way to solve for that. So finding a balance of kind of what to include right now. It's easy to include hugs, because that kind of, hopefully, at least with these three, I know some hugs can be pitchy at times as well, but these three are definitely, strategic in nature. And there's some good content there. This week, had a great session with Tony starting his new series, which is just straight to the point. Let's build your strategy into HubSpot, focusing on, first of all, the difference between your business strategy and a HubSpot strategy, and how HubSpot cannot be your strategy. You need to build your business strategy, your goals, what you want to see happen into the platform that is HubSpot. HubSpot will not do it for you. You can provide some pretty good hints along the way, but you've got to tell it where you are and where you want to go. Brian and I chatted a lot. I ended up the whole episode. I joked with him beforehand that we could spend the whole episode on naming conventions, and that's what we did. So that was a fun session. Great session with Oaks today, getting that new episode or new series off the ground. Let's build your audience. and again, we're learning with cadence and, you know, trying to create flexibility, a schedule, like how much content can we do here? You know, he's got a lot of things going on, um, you know, personally and professionally, and maybe we don't get to it next week. Maybe next week it's on Wednesday. Maybe we take a week off. Like, that's okay. I think as long as we keep the cadence up and the commitment to, you know, regularly scheduled programming, we will get, you know, to where we need to go. Because ultimately, you know, there's other people in the ecosystem that can pitch in on these topics from different angles. And I think that's the key to a lot of this. Can we take conversations you're already having, have them in a public forum, and, you know, help more people that way, educate more people that way? It's a different kind of content, shares knowledge a little bit differently. This conversational approach is real. This authentic approach is real. Got to find a way to scale this if we're to support, you know, the the problem that has rapidly scaled, right? Got the admin's hug in a little bit, building out a marketing operations playbook with Mike Rizzo. Look forward to checking that out. As an example of flexibility, you know, Madeline is going to be talking about playbooks at 1 o'clock Central today. We, you know, we did a few shows in the morning, you know, saw how that worked. She's had some schedule adjustments to make. So now we're going to make, you know, we're going to try out an afternoon show. And this is the kind of thing, like, when the important part is creating the content, sharing the expertise, doing it in this organic way, doing it live. We're showing up every day. We're not doing months of planning. You know, is Tuesday at 1 better than Tuesday at 9? Like, do we care? Right? Because we're making content. It's not focused on who's showing up live, right? We know the majority of the consumption is going to happen after it's recorded. So at that point, you know, we'll start to look at how the algorithm, you know, is operating and hope to learn more about that. But when the content is the goal, which it is, the content is a goal that supports the overall goal of education, right? We can move it around. We can adjust the schedule, you know, so that the content gets created. Tomorrow morning, Stuart's back with another session of Connected GTM. Really impressed with what he's doing after he had, you know, some abrupt changes in his professional world. And that's like, so you see it happening. And I think, like, I don't know what has happened in these individual cases, but I don't think it's a stretch to, like, kind of connect the dots between, you know, the stress on the ecosystem right now, the growth, the growing pains. Like, when you create pressure in some places, people need to change and they need to change focus. When big companies do that, that's when you have layoffs. But when we see it on the more local level with smaller orgs, and you see the impact that has, it's let's just say it's interesting to watch. And hopefully, you know, we can create this space where, again, this is why personal brand growth and investment is important. Like, you can you know, decide your own destiny, create your own destiny a little bit. And I think Stuart's doing a great job of that right now with, you know, he built an audience over 2-3 years with some great helpful content. And he's already, you know, found ways to monetize that. Again, like, if you have certain pieces of the puzzle in place, which he happens to help you understand what those pieces need to be. uh, you can very easily take the next step because there's tried and true approaches to put these pieces together, make them recurring in this case, and start to get some return on the value that you've been providing all along, right? And since you're starting with the value, it's easier to start getting value in return. We got this team, Tim Jones, Ashley Jones, Frank Manley, and Ramin Khan doing a double dose of hugs tomorrow. And I love this. I haven't talked to them about like what would compel them to do 2 shows across a couple different hugs, but I love it. We need more commerce hub content. We need it badly, right? So I love a double dose of payments. And this is so true. Unlocking HubSpot's commerce tools. That's all it does. Everybody has it. It's not a paid hub. You don't even have to be using HubSpot payments, right? I recommend you do, though. It streamlines a lot, right? And hopefully we can learn a little bit about, the conversations we need to be having with our finance teams, with accounts receivables, payables, that group, to see where this can fit in. Because ultimately sending an invoice to a customer is a customer-facing activity. And if we have a tool like HubSpot that can do it, why would we ask QuickBooks to do it? Where we have no control, well, we have less control over how it looks. And it's customer communication. Let's get into HubSpot. How to boost your college's SEO using HubSpot tools with Guy Bloodworth. Interesting right now. SEO, super interesting topic. We're seeing a lot of original SEO experts like Rand Fishkin had a great article. From my perspective, when I listen to it and watch it and read it, like, people like Marcus Sheridan have been saying this for months. Like, I'm happy that everybody's starting to turn their focus, because if you haven't been watching Google get disrupted and your data just start to tank, whether it's Google Ads or organic, like, we spend so much time like complaining and trying to figure out what's happening. When literally yesterday I went through with a client and they have a $2 million business. The organic ranking of the $52 billion market leader is number 1, and they're number 2. But guess who? When they both have articles, so that I don't even need to tell you what it is, but the market leader, the giant leader, ranks number 1. The $2 million company ranks number 2. The AI summary result doesn't say anything about the market leader and is focused on saying, go to this place to solve this problem. And it's the number 2 result. It's the $2 million company, right? Now, there's a lot of talk about, trusting that information. And like, why is it choosing, like, how is it choosing authoritative sources? Why is it so different from the organic rankings, things like that? So there's a lot to be learned, but the fact is that the only thing you can control right now is your content and your message. I would focus much less on channels, or like on channels like we used to, especially SEO and Google. And we might be witnessing, the end of an era here before our eyes. I don't know how they're going to replace that ads revenue stream. But the key is, and I love the Ask You Answer so much, it's just create content. Like, content's going to drive AI specifically, but also content, and where you, once you have it, you can put it website, you can put it social, you can do direct, outbound activities to support, you know, some of these things. Some of these things used to depend on, organic for. So, also tomorrow, let's build HubSpot onboarding with Willem Roos. Excited to have another session with him tomorrow. And if there's any HubSpotters watching this internal, like, I'm looking for a little cohort of people willing to, create content on the regular. You guys got a lot of insights to share. See a lot of people, kind of throwing videos, in various places on LinkedIn. I think we could coordinate a little bit and have a little more intention around the information that we're sharing. And then I'm doing my first attempt on Friday at a 4-pack of shows. Luckily, I don't have to host them all. But speaking of constraints, we're going to see. I mean, I love doing this, so I'll be surprised if I, feel any kind of overwhelm. I think the key is making sure I don't have a lot of other responsibilities to manage or worry about at that time. But, we're going to be talking about calculated properties, and Matthew's going to be telling me everything I got wrong last week when I, had the show without him while he was taking care of his sick animal. Again, figuring out ways to be active, share information, provide different perspectives. If you haven't used calculated properties, highly recommend watching last week. I just rolled through the knowledge base article of calculated properties, built one out for the first time, and, learned some stuff along the way. And I know some others did too. Industrial Souls with John Joyce, good friend, somebody that travels in the similar industrial marketing circles. He started a LinkedIn Live. He's got a nice marketing background, but he's been focused recently on integrations and high-level marketing strategy and consulting. Understanding, like, much of what I was getting what was getting in the way for me inside was integration between things like ERP and other data systems. And if we don't have that, how can we possibly create a complete view of the customer, understand the complete journey? He's got Bridger.io there that he uses as a platform to help support, some more complex integrations. Let's build your AI skills with Nick Lefakis. Special guest HubSpot Harry. I'll be honest, I've been wanting to learn more and use HubSpot Harry, for a while. I'm going to take this opportunity with Nick to get a proper introduction and, start talking about AI along the way, both where it is in HubSpot, how he's utilizing it with this custom GPT, and some other tools. I've been really excited about Claude AI and their recent changes. So that'll be a fun conversation. And then we're talking workspaces, with Danielle Urban. Hopefully one of us has access to the sales workspace. If not, we'll find a way, but I think we can get there. So it's going to be a fun week. If you can, please subscribe. Or no, what are we doing? We're following the Let's Build Media page. Once we hit 150 followers, so we've got 18 now. Once we hit 150 followers, we can start doing shows directly from this page, and hopefully increase the content and get more people involved in hosting their own shows, and upward and onward from there. So have a wonderful Tuesday, everybody. Let's grow.